The rain hammered the windows as the man in a dark suit walked into Portland Airport. No one noticed him. Just another traveler with a calm expression and a briefcase held tightly in his hand. He bought a one-way ticket to Seattle under the name Dan Cooper, his voice steady, polite, almost too ordinary. But behind that calm face, a dangerous plan was already in motion. On board Flight 305, he took seat 18C, quietly observing the passengers. He blended in perfectly, well-dressed, clean-shaven, like a businessman heading home. The flight attendants remembered his confidence, the way he ordered bourbon and lit a cigarette, as if this flight meant nothing to him. No nerves, no rush, only focus, sharp as a blade hidden under the calm surface. As the plane climbed into the gray November sky, Cooper leaned toward the nearest flight attendant and handed her a small white note. She smiled, thinking it was a phone number, but his calm whisper froze her blood. "Miss, you'd better read that. I have a bomb." His eyes didn't blink. His tone didn't tremble. It was as if he'd practiced those words 1,000 times. Inside the briefcase, he showed her wires and red cylinders. Maybe real, maybe fake, but convincing enough. She backed away in shock, and Cooper gave his demands. $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck waiting in Seattle. He didn't shout. He didn't threaten. He just stated it plainly, like ordering coffee. The crew realized they were dealing with a controlled mind. The pilots contacted Seattle. Authorities agreed. No risks, no heroism. While the passengers sat unaware, Cooper relaxed, drinking slowly and watching raindrops slide down the window. He allowed the crew to keep calm by staying calm himself. It was the strangest hijacking they had ever seen. Polite, calculated, almost respectful. The storm clouds outside mirrored his mystery. As the plane circled Seattle to buy time, the crew secretly prepared the money and parachutes. Cooper asked for the cabin lights dimmed to make police snipers useless. He refused fancy tracking devices. He seemed to anticipate every trick. "I'm not here to hurt anyone," he repeated. The words sounded honest. Too honest. That made him even more terrifying. When Flight 305 finally landed, Cooper allowed all passengers to leave. They walked out peacefully, unaware they had just survived a hijacking. Only the crew stayed aboard, trembling but following instructions. Authorities brought the money and parachutes. Cooper checked each bill carefully, as if expecting a trap, then nodded. Everything was going exactly as he intended. He ordered the pilots to take off again, heading south toward Mexico, flying low at 10,000 feet, slow enough for a parachute jump. The cabin turned cold as the plane rose back into the storm. The crew huddled together in the front, forbidden to enter the rear. Cooper moved back alone, carrying the money bag and parachutes, silent and precise. The storm outside roared. Rain hammered the metal hull like angry fists. Cooper tied the money bag to his body with a confidence that didn't belong to an amateur. The crew felt the plane shift as he opened the rear air stair. Wind screamed through the cabin, shaking everything. Someone shouted, "Sir, it's dangerous!" But there was no answer. At exactly 8:13 p.m., the aircraft jolted violently, like something heavy had left it. The pilots marked the moment. Somewhere below, in the endless black forest of Washington, a man had jumped into the storm with a fortune strapped to his chest. No spotlight, no backup plan, only bravery or madness, maybe both. The air stair slammed shut behind him. The crew landed safely in Reno. The FBI stormed the plane, expecting clues. But Cooper had left nothing. No fingerprints, no name, no trace. His seat was spotless, like he had never been there. Only the empty bourbon glass and a cigarette butt remained. Small ghosts of a man who had vanished into the night with impossible confidence. Hundreds of agents searched the wilderness where they believed he landed. Helicopters hovered over dark forests. Dogs combed the riverbanks, but the storm had erased everything. The landscape swallowed footprints, fabric, hope. It was as if the sky itself had taken Cooper and hidden him forever. The FBI couldn't understand how anyone survived that jump. Theories exploded. Ex-military, CIA, skydiver, magician, ghost. Witness sketches showed a calm man in sunglasses, too calm for what he'd done. People admired him, whispered about him, feared him. Some called him a criminal genius. Others saw a rebel who humiliated the government without harming a single person. Cooper became a legend overnight. Years passed, and the mystery only grew. The money never reappeared, except for a small bundle found years later on a riverbank, half buried in sand. Was it lost during the jump, or planted? The clue raised more questions than answers. Cooper's shadow stretched across decades, haunting investigators who couldn't accept defeat. Every suspect felt wrong. Too tall, too young, too sloppy, too talkative. The real Cooper was a ghost, disciplined, controlled, unpredictable. Some agents believed he died in the jump. Others that he walked away smiling, disappearing into a quiet life somewhere far from the noise. The case file grew thicker while answers remained thin. Retired agents still argued about him in dim bars. He was military, one said. He had the steel nerves. He was a gambler, another insisted. Luck like that doesn't come from training. Everyone had a theory. No one had proof. Cooper lived inside speculation, feeding the imagination of anyone who loved impossible mysteries. In movies and books, he became a symbol of the perfect outlaw. No violence, no casualties, only a daring escape that mocked the limits of authority. People admired the elegance of the crime. Clean, intelligent, fearless. Even today, young investigators read the case just to learn how one man beat an entire system. The FBI officially closed the case after decades of failure, but unofficially many agents still dream of solving it. They look at old photos, recheck maps, run simulations, and every time they reach the same question: who was Dan Cooper? A criminal? A patriot? A magician? Or simply a man who refused to live an ordinary life? Some claim Cooper called himself Dan, after a famous comic book hero who was a brave airman. If true, it meant he saw himself not as a villain, but as a character in his own story. A story he controlled from beginning to end. The hijacking was not just a crime. It was a performance, a message, a legend in motion. And so, the man in the dark suit remains frozen in time, stepping into the storm, disappearing into the black forest below. No body, no confession, no closure. Only the sound of the wind and the memory of the greatest unsolved heist in American history. D.B. Cooper didn't just escape, he escaped forever.